Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shanghai Bike Show, day 3. I got the monster in hand, trying to get uber caffeinated for the day ahead, get hyped, get ready. So yeah, I'm gonna try and hit some booths in rapid succession today, find some really wicked stuff, because there's so much on offer here. So yeah, stick with. Yeah, hopefully this is gonna be a good one. I've got no idea, this is the start of the day. But yeah, let's crack on. Right then, Laget, walked by this booth yesterday, saw this incredible looking 3D printed titanium bike frame. You gotta check this thing out. Right, so here it is, a fully 3D printed titanium road bike. Looks absolutely wild. We've seen a couple of things like this before, but the headliner on this, look how thin that top tube is there. Absolutely nuts. So that's kind of one of the benefits with 3D printed titanium. You're not kind of constrained in the same way you are with carbon, and they can really differentiate themselves in frame design characteristics. And yeah, that top tube, there is absolutely nothing to it. So other than looking really wild and obviously, yeah, reducing the weight on the top tube there, it's also, to quite a large extent, it's gonna increase vertical compliance, right? Because with the front triangle, if that top tube is really thin, it's gonna take the edge off quite a lot of the road buzz, because yeah, the vertical compliance in that front triangle is gonna be increased. So I saw a bike kind of similar to this last year at Ruler Live in London. It was the Reactor Aero by number 22 bike. So they're taking deposits for it at the moment. They had the kind of one of the first prototypes on the booth, but that was fully 3D printed titanium. That was printed in several parts and then kind of welded together, so you could almost see the seams. This one is something a little bit different. So a bit of a difference with this one is the entire frame, so this whole piece here, front and rear triangle, is printed in one piece, which is nuts. The print bed for this must be absolutely enormous. I double, triple checked that, and yeah, the frame comes out in one piece, and there are no weld lines at all, because with the Reactor Aero, I believe they kind of bonded it here and kind of pieced it together, because yeah, the print bed wasn't large enough to print the whole frame in one. So the weight on that thing wasn't too bad, honestly. So for the frame, that was 1.6 kilos. Frame with fork is 2.2, which I don't think is too bad considering some of the kind of chunky profiling they've got on some of the other tubes and the fork as well, because there are some definite aero characteristics in that frame. Now, cost, they quoted me about 10,000 USD, but currently they've only got plans to sell this in the Chinese market right now. So yeah, unfortunately you won't be able to get this outside of China. But either way, a really incredible looking bike and kind of more of a showpiece for this brand in terms of what they're capable of with, yeah, 3D printing tech. Pretty wild. And I just noticed as well, look how thin that seat tube is as well. Yeah, 3D printing titanium just removes a lot of limitations with, yeah, traditional bike frame geometries. That's nuts. So yeah, just for a point of reference, this is what I would kind of normally expect with 3D printing. So these are the lugs they use for a couple of their kind of other frames up here. And you can see they cram them onto the print bed to save space and yeah, make it more economical for printing. So you can imagine getting that whole frame onto the print bed. I mean, it would be huge in order to get it out in one piece. Yeah, just nuts. Hopefully that can kind of give you a little bit of perspective. So just passing by this booth, West Biking, and it's a brand you're probably going to be familiar with if you do any shopping on AliExpress. They've got virtually everything. They've got some like cycle clothing over there, jerseys, bib shorts. They've got yeah, gloves, they do backpacks, bells, virtually everything. I mean, I'm familiar with these as well. These yeah, ceramic jockey wheels, they got tools and stuff, but they've got this interesting demo. It's a mountain bike pedal, bear in mind. So the leverage on the end is going to be pretty intense. And yeah, 80 kilos, which I don't know, sounds pretty impressive considering 2 pedals, that's 160 kilograms. And presumably it's been spinning the whole show. I've no idea how smooth it is. It could be absolutely knackered, the bearings in there. But yeah, I don't know, pretty cool. And yeah, I showed this last year, but yeah, they do full bikes, which is interesting because I just associate this brand with small little bits that you'd pick up from AliExpress. But yeah, full branded bike here. It's $3,000, so not the cheapest. I have no idea what it rides like. It's got Shimano mechanical, which is a bonus. And yeah, they do their own wheel sets too. But it's a much bigger brand than you'd you know, realize from just looking at what they sell on AliExpress. It's funny, sometimes quite difficult to film on booths like that actually, because once they kind of figure out what you're up to, you have the whole team just stood behind you watching your every move. I think they're trying to be helpful and available to you. But yeah, when you got everyone just like watching everything you're doing, it can be quite difficult to like, you know, get in the zone. So yeah, bear with on some of these booths. I'm trying my best. Right then, YBN. So I really rate these guys. They're a Taiwanese chain manufacturer. And yeah, the chains they produce are fantastic. Some of the best outside of the SRAM Shimano, in my opinion. Yeah, kind of eye-catching. They do some really colorful designs for their chains. This rainbow one's wicked, and you can see they color in the links and the pins. So you could kind of color match to your bike. They do chains in all sorts of variations, but have a look at this one here. So they've got like little plain decals on there. And they got one here with little kiddie paws, which is quite cute, admittedly. Yeah, maybe great for a kid's bike, or maybe my own bicycle, honestly. Who wouldn't want like pink kiddie paws on their YBN chain? Apples there, I think those are blueberries. And then they got this like World Cup football chain. See, that's the World Cup there. I think that's the new football. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But they also do this, which is pretty cool. So they got SRAM specific chains and Shimano specific chains. So up here, we've got a flat top 12, 13 speed chain for SRAM, quite difficult to see, we've got flat top there. And then also a 12-speed Shimano standard flat top chain. So yeah, if you're running Shimano and want to join the SRAM crew with flat top, YBN have you covered, which yeah, it's pretty cool, honestly. But yeah, honestly, YBN, a really top-tier chain manufacturer, in my opinion. I'd easily put them on par with some of the best stuff coming out of SRAM and Shimano. And the fact that you can get a flat top chain for your 12-speed Shimano setup, yeah, I really like that. Okay, super interesting. So I'm passing the RideNow booth, and I've covered them before. I love the RideNow TPU tubes, but they've started to branch out into other bits. And look at this thing. So I covered a set of carbon ceramic disc rotors quite recently, actually, from this Chinese company, Carbonova, and I was really impressed. And it looks like RideNow are entering the game as well. So yeah, not many details on them at the moment. They're still kind of in pre-production. Looks like they'll be kind of aiming for about $300 per rotor. So a similar price to Carbonova, but there's one interesting facet to these. So the kind of special sauce with the Carbonova ones is the fact that they produce their own proprietary brake pad material with it as well, because obviously carbon ceramic disc is a completely different material to like regular steel disc rotors. So my first question was, do these come with proprietary brake pads? And apparently no, they don't. They come with the standard sintered metal, which is interesting because I was told by Carbonova when I was like chatting through their R&D and development for the rotors, they said, yeah, sintered metal pads will absolutely work because the kind of surface hardness of carbon ceramic is just monstrous, far more than regular steel rotors. So using sintered metal is absolutely fine. But interesting, they haven't gone down the proprietary brake pad route with these RideNow rotors. So yeah, I'll be really interested to see how these perform in comparison because yeah, Carbonova swore that was the special sauce with them, those proprietary brake pads, whereas these just come with standard ones. I've asked them to send me a set as soon as they're available. But yeah, really wicked. I'll have a direct comparison between these and the Carbonova variety. So yeah, really cool. Stay tuned for that. So I got a little sample here. So this is a 140. It's 6 bar of the minute, but they're gonna bring out Sensah lock for the final product. And as it sits right now, this thing is just 50 grams. It's got a carbon spider on there. And in fact, we can have a quick go. 50.14 grams. That is nuts. Presumably with the Sensah lock adapter, it might add a few extra grams, but yeah, that carbon spider is doing some heavy lifting, reducing the weight. So yeah, that's pretty nuts. If memory serves, that is a little bit less than the Carbonova ones as well. So yeah, 50 grams for this thing. That's 140. For the 160, we've got it here. I think this was, they said 60 grams? 58. That's pretty nuts. Again, Sensah lock might add a few grams, but still really impressive. One other quick thing they showed me, this thing right here. So it's a live tire pressure monitor. So you can see it'll sync up to your Garmin, give you the live PSI reading, 59 PSI there. And they come in a couple of different colors. You can get pink or black there. Really lightweight. Take a tiny little button cell battery in the top. And yeah, no additional bulk. Just pop that straight on. Any press to valve, doesn't need to be a RideNow one, and it'll give you a live pressure reading. So yeah, 6 grams each, which is pretty nuts. The battery will apparently last 300 hours of riding, and you can get the pair for about $60 on sale now. Yeah, that's a pretty cool little gadget. So yeah, everyone knows RideNow for their TPU tubes. They got a couple of little show pieces here. These trainers are made out of recycled TPU inner tubes. They've got some bags here, same again, recycled materials. These ones too. But yeah, they're breaking into loads of other lightweight bits and bobs. They got some titanium through axles in here. They've obviously got the carbon ceramic disc rotors. And yeah, these super lightweight tire pressure monitors. So some really interesting kit coming out of RideNow, I've got to say. Right, so I've popped back into the Sensah booth because I want to take another look at their 14-speed group set. So I checked this out last year and it was very, very impressive. But back then it was a kind of more prototype version in a way. For example, they hadn't quite sorted out the battery situation. They wouldn't actually let me see it last year, whereas this is the final battery implementation. And they've also done a little bit of work on the shifters as well. So yeah, got a bit of a closer look at the battery here. And yeah, really cool. It's got USB-C charging on. So apparently it'll get you 1,500 kilometers of riding, there or thereabouts, on a full charge. And with USB-C, they offer a fast charge as well. So within about 10 minutes plugged in, it'll give you about 200 kilometers worth of riding. So yeah, pretty cool. And USB-C on there as well is decent. So it's just much more stable, a much more kind of refined product. It certainly looks like it. They've done a little bit of work on the buttons as well. Just for those that don't remember, basically this is a kind of a rocker switch, up and down, and you can see it shifting there. The shifting is rock solid. But yeah, rocker buttons, which is interesting. A different implementation to what we normally see. So it certainly looks like a much more squared away product this year. It's still not released. So they told me 1 month, they'll be selling it to Chinese domestic market and then overseas in about 4 months. So we will see, because I think they promised similar timelines last year, so I don't know. But it certainly looks like it's pretty much done. I kind of requested an estimate on price. They wouldn't give me one. So I've no idea what it's gonna cost. At the moment, it's just 1x as it sits right here. Apparently 2x for road is in development, but they've got this tech in a short, medium, and long cage, and they've got it for, yeah, mountain bike over there as well. So yeah, I'll be really interested to see what the final price is when it kind of hits the market. But yeah, 4 months apparently for worldwide, but let's see. All right, I just had a quick chat. Apparently they're gonna send me one to try, which is really, really exciting. So hopefully I'll be able to test it in the next, I don't know, couple of weeks. So that'll be wicked. So yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully I'll have the 14-speed group set to try. How exciting is that? Anyway, let's crack on. Right, while I'm here, I gotta give some love to SUMC as well. So these are another chain manufacturer. They actually make the 14-speed chain for Sensah for their 14-speed electronic group set. And yeah, along with YBN, I really, really rate these guys. I've personally run SUMC chains for a long time. And again, yeah, lots of different color options here. So you can color match to your bike. And yeah, again, they've got flat top chains here for both SRAM and Shimano. Apparently they look absolutely identical, but there's a slightly different width and ramping profile between SRAM and Shimano for their flat top. So again, if you're looking for a flat top chain for your Shimano group set, SUMC, come to them, they'll sort you out. Right, so I'm back at the Panda Podium booth for lunch. And yeah, for those that don't know, Joe and the team at Panda Podium have flown me and a couple of other YouTubers out to the show. So we got Shane, GP Llama, he's rocking around the show somewhere. And we got the beautiful Nero boys, Jesse and Chris, hanging out in the back there. But yeah, on day one, I covered a gravel bike and it got quite a lot of interest actually. So to kind of continue that vibe, Yoeleo have got a really nice looking gravel bike on the booth here. So this is the Yoeleo Altera G21. It's kind of their rough and ready gravel build. It's been out for about a year. They did offer it in this really nice looking champagne gold color. But yeah, this is a new colorway. This kind of lovely looking marble effect. But yeah, let me show you some of the standout features on this frame. You have a little bit of flexibility with this frame set as well. So you can spec it out a bit like it is here as a kind of racy gravel build. So we've got some aero water bottles on here and this Cybre carbon crank. But if you want, you could spec it to be a full-on adventure build. So we've got mounting points built in to the seat stays here, so you can put a kind of rear luggage rack on, and you can get the fork here with additional mounting points as well. So yeah, go full-on adventure bike with this as well if you like. Now this one is spec'd out with the new L2 GRT. So this is the one with the kind of Shimano-esque shift lever. I reviewed this very, very recently actually. And on my set, I had a bit of an issue where the brake lever travel was quite excessive, but here, not at all. It's absolutely fine. And as I kind of theorized in the video, I think it might be something to do with the brake calipers, because on this particular setup, they're running the slightly updated version of the L2 calipers. I was running the older style. So I think that might be the reason for my excessive lever travel, because right here, yeah, that's absolutely fine and kind of as it should be. So the stated tire clearance on this frame is 700 by 53C, but currently on here, we've got these 29 by 2.1 tires on, which equates to about 700 by 53, 54, plenty of tire clearance left at the front. And at the back, there's a little bit of space as well. So you might even be able to squeeze on some slightly bigger tires actually. it's pretty decent value. So for the frame, it's $1,400. If you want to add in these pretty decent looking integrated carbon bars from Yoeleo, add on another $190. So $1,590 in total for this setup. In-frame storage here on the down tube and the top tube, which is cool. And I was chatting to the Yoeleo guys yesterday, actually. They're gonna send me one of these over to check out, which I'm really, really happy about because it certainly looks pretty tasty here. Anyway, if you want to check out any of this stuff, look at pandapodium.cc. Joe and the team, again, massive, massive thanks to those guys. But let's crack on, see what else we can find at the show. Right, I've popped in to see CRW, Craft Racing Works. So Joe and so many other cyclists rate this gear incredibly, incredibly highly. It's some of the best-selling stuff on Panda Podium, and they got a really interesting new handlebar. So this is a drop-in replacement for the existing Canyon handlebar, because Canyon have this sort of proprietary sort of design for their handlebars with this extension on the bottom with the cable routing hole here. This is, yeah, a drop-in replacement for it, and it saves 70 grams over the Canyon handlebar, which, if you know anything about the weight of carbon handlebars, 70 grams is quite a lot to be dropping in one go, so that is seriously impressive. It should fit all models apart from certain Canyon Grail varieties where the cables aren't routed fully internally. But yeah, cost price on this is gonna be about $540. But again, dropping 70 grams on a set of handlebars like this is no mean feat, seriously. So this drop-in Canyon replacement is the HB013. Got the HB01 bars here, which I believe are the best-selling bars on Panda Podium, so definitely worth a look. But I've come for these as well. These are the CRW Ultimo 60. The Ultimo wheel set is impressive, but this Ultimo 60, the weight on this wheel set is crazy. They've shaved off 100 grams compared to the previous gen. And that's come from, well, slightly different layup, but we've got thinner carbon spokes here and a slightly more milled out hub, so custom hubs in here. And yeah, they managed to get some weight out of the hubs too, saving 100 grams over the wheel set. So the total weight on that wheel set is 1,160 grams, which for a 60 mil deep carbon wheel set is pretty flipping impressive. And they're not super narrow either. So internally they're 24, externally 32 actually. Now, cost on those is not super cheap, but it's not like crazy, $2,400 for that wheel set. So yeah, some pretty impressive stuff coming out of Carbon Raceworks. And yeah, Joe rates these very highly, and I can absolutely see why. Right, I've come back to this Ningbo Shuyu Transmission Corporation because I really want to have a go on one of these bikes. This is that $300 electric, yeah, 2x12 speed group set. They've got some bikes here. I really want to give it a go. So here it is 2x12 speed, electronic. And yeah, the promised retail for this is going to be under $300. Yeah, impressive. So I'm going to give it a go, see what it's like. Okay, apologies for the wind noise. I'm filming on my phone because it's difficult otherwise. Yeah, apart from the bike being far, far too small, but the group set performs pretty decently. I tried shifting under power on the front derailleur. It seems to cope with that all right, and shifting in the back seems pretty robust. So, I mean, all roads point to it being at least serviceable. So, yeah, let me drop off quickly and I'll show you one little funny aspect. All right, so the brakes feel pretty good. That's the kind of travel they've got in them, so that's not excessive at all. And they do seem nice and grabby. And the front derailleur, it does trim as well. So same as L2, you kind of shift into the big ring and then you press the same shift button again to kind of trim it. Same on the downshift. So downshift and then you press the same button again to kind of trim it as you're going through the gears. These are the buttons right here. Obviously don't feel the best to kind of shift with, but they're perfectly serviceable. But yeah, there's a reason the front derailleur is so abhorrently chunky, and it's because the battery for the group set is in here as well. So with the L2 stuff and Shimano as well, the battery is housed in the seat post, kind of Di2 style, whereas here, the battery is inside the front derailleur, hence the reason it's so chunky. But yeah, honestly, it does seem to work pretty well. Honestly, really limited test. The bike is far too small. I've just been shooting about around here for the last few minutes, stopping, starting, trying to crunch through the gears. And yeah, it does appear to shift under load, but again, there's a limited amount of effort I could put in around this way. But yeah, for $300, a completely serviceable 2x12 electronic group set. Yes, the buttons aren't the best, but the brakes feel pretty decent. Yeah, I don't know, pretty promising, honestly. All right, let's go and drop this beast back. The saddle's getting a bit loosey-goosey on me, so I've had to pull the seat post out so far. But yeah, color me impressed, honestly. Right, last push, your boy's flagging. Picked up a pretty intense looking Red Bull and whatever this is, but it's got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on it. So I'm sure it's pretty sick. Right, even though I just smashed that Red Bull and I'm about to tuck into whatever this quite sus looking JoJo beverage is, I think that honestly wraps it up for day 3. Such a busy day. I was rushing around all over the shop. But yeah, that RideNow booth, really interesting. Those carbon ceramic rotors, I'm gonna pit them directly against the Carbonova ones because I really wanna see if the proprietary brake pad compound from Carbonova makes a difference. And yeah, hopefully I'll be testing out that 14-speed group set from Sensah in a few weeks. That's gonna be wicked. Anyway, yeah, heading back to the booth now. I think we're gonna do a bit of a debrief with Joe, and then I believe we've got like a race on the machine booth. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty intense afternoon, I think. That's the reason I'm trying to perk myself back up. Anyway, like I said yesterday, thank you so much for watching the coverage. It's a genuine privilege to be able to be here and do this kind of stuff because yeah, it's just nuts. I kind of wish you guys were here with me to get an absolute face full of this place because it's just, yeah, it's crazy, honestly. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Leave some comments and like the video and all that nonsense. And yeah, I'll see you again. Well, it won't be in 24 hours, I don't think, because, well, for several reasons. But I will do a day 4. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And anyway, in the meantime, have a good one. See you later. Ciao. False alarm. It turns out it's just soda water. Right. Anyway, there. See you next time.